Pop. Bears. Beats. Battlestar.
Stay on target.
You can't handle the truth.
Stay on target.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pop Culture Redemption, a show that is dedicated to helping the church have a better vision of God at work, moving and working in popular culture. Well, happy New Year's Eve. This podcast is coming out on New Year's Eve, and today we're actually rewinding 2024. So we're going to resurface kind of the biggest pop culture moments from the last year and just look to see how God has been in the midst of it all throughout the year. So if it's big and it happened in 2024, we're probably going to rejoice, reject, or redeem it. We have a great conversation today, and we're looking forward to diving into it. Just a couple quick things, pop culture redemption related, before we dive into the podcast for today. One, don't forget seats for our live show on January on Friday. That gets me every time. On Friday, January 17th in McPherson, are now available for reservation. Please use the link in the show notes below to get more information, to see details, see where we're having it, and to RSVP for the show. And we're also in the midst of the Pop CR 12 Days of Christmas on our social media platforms. If you haven't seen that, we're in the midst of it. So please engage with us there. Just to grow the show, we love engaging with you all. Plus, there's a couple different giveaway opportunities for some exclusive perks and merch, which you won't want to miss. So that's kind of the big pop culture redemption thing right now that I wanted to highlight. I think that's it. So without further ado, let's dive into today's podcast, the 2024 Pop Culture Rewind. Here we go. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Pop Culture Redemption. Woo! It's the last episode of what year is this? 2024. Oh my goodness.
That's insane.
Happy New Year's Eve day. New Year's. It's
Or
just New
whenever
Year's
you're listening
period.
to it.
I mean, yeah, but it's around New Year's.
That's fair.
And hopefully you have the day off right now.
Yeah.
Then you can listen to us over and over again.
That's right.
And you can catch up if you're missing something.
That's right.
Behind
That's right.
And interact with our social media.
Because Kim is killing it.
Yeah. Well, my name's Connor.
I'm Jake.
I'm Kim.
My name's Priscilla.
And we are Pop Culture Redemption, here to help the church have a better vision of God working in popular culture. Yes. And today we're doing 2024 Pop Culture Rewind. I didn't practice my rewind sound.
This is way better than the Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
Way better.
And there's no AI involved here at all.
It's 4 human beings wrapping up the year. Woo! Somebody drop
No
a beat.
AI involved. All right, so as part of our pop culture recap, I wanted to take us on a journey real quick to start this episode. Here's a short list of things that I wrote down thinking about the last year. Things that have happened in 2024.
Woo.
Some of them I was like, blink, blink. That was this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Okay, here we go.
It was a long year.
In no particular order. So these are not in order chronologically. Or of significance. There's no order.
You're not going to
That's what I mean when I
start
say
the fire.
There's no particular order. What?
You're not going to we didn't start the
We
fire.
didn't
Like
start
make a rap. It's all in.
Paris Olympics? No, doesn't work. Doesn't work. All right. I gave away my first one. Caitlin Clark takes women's college basketball and the WNBA to new heights. Paris Olympics happened this year, and so many things based on that opening ceremonies. Pommel horse guy, Turkish sharpshooter who came out of retirement.
Friggin' cool.
Out of retirement to get silver. Flava Flav had a resurgence.
Yes, he
part
did.
of the Olympics. And Snoop Dogg.
That was great.
Is Snoop Dogg like just America's new like?
He's
our
everywhere.
mascot.
He's literally everywhere.
He's America's mascot.
Oh.
That is such an upset. If you would have told everyone
It's a
15 years
choice.
ago that literally everyone will love Snoop Dogg,
It's so funny.
can you imagine?
No.
That's crazy. The Chiefs beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
You don't care about that one.
No,
at all.
not at all.
No.
No.
Unbiased. Michigan defeats Washington to win the college football playoff. I just hit some major sporting events. Boston Celtics beat the Dallas Mavericks to win NBA title. Blink, blink.
Cool.
Nothing. Movies that came out this year that were big box office successes. Dune Part 2.
So good.
Wicked.
So good.
So good. Inside Out. Dos. And Deadpool versus Wolverine. All came out this year.
Wow.
I actually saw that, like, didn't Inside Out 2 hit, like, the biggest global since Frozen 2?
It was great, though. Like, it deserved it.
It was great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
It was
Keep
great.
going.
No, it's all good.
Go listen to that episode too, though.
Absolutely.
All these things with Diddy.
Let's just pass over that.
Moodang, Baby Hippo. Baby Hippo. I said that. I thought this was a big deal, but these people are looking at me like I have no idea what you're talking
It's
about.
because
It's
of
a
the
baby hippo.
algorithms.
It's
Like,
the
we all have a
algorithm.
different algorithms.
I bet
It's a
Connor's.
cute baby hippo that united the world.
It's starting to seem like Connor's social media is just full of cute animals.
And music.
I mean,
And Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Hawk Tuah girl. We won't say any more about that until a
thank
little
you.
later. Baltimore Bridge collapses after a freighter runs into it. That was a
Yikes.
bummer. That was kind of a big
That was
thing
a
this year.
bummer.
It was a major bummer. Total solar eclipse happened this year.
Oh yeah.
Parts
oh,
of
Wait, we
North
missed. We
America.
couldn't see it, right? Because of the.
No, we did.
No, wait, we
did.
saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched
I
that.
remember now. You say
I saw
that, I
it.
was like, oh, that was this year.
That was
huh?
this
Yeah,
year.
that's crazy.
We did have a presidential election this year. I don't know.
You should go back and listen to that episode because
Yeah.
we had a lot to say about that.
Yes, we did.
So many things happened as part of that, but you know what? I wrote them down, but I'm just going to move past. And then Hurricane Helene hits the East Coast.
Yeah, that was rough.
That happened too. That's what I had
What a
jotted down.
bummer.
All of those
Kidding.
things happened this year, which is wild.
Yeah.
We
and
also
so
had
much
some
more.
Northern Lights in America,
Northern Lights.
There we
which was
go.
kind of crazy, but I never got to see, which is a bummer.
Sorry, man.
Not bitter.
Not at all.
No.
Oh.
And if there's anything that we're missing, it's because we're recording this weeks in advance.
That's right. Yeah. If there's something that happens between, I don't know, December 8th and December 31st, and you're
Dude,
like,
the rest of this month is about to be crazy.
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 That's right. A lot of us are, all of us are involved in our churches to some degree. So it's Christmas
It's
sprint,
the
y'all.
time.
It's the time. It's the time.
Cool.
All right, let's dive in. Here we go. Rejoice, Reject, Redeem, Pop Culture Rewind, things that happened this year. Priscilla.
Oh my. I get to
Wait,
go
do you not have
first?
anything for this one?
I do.
You do.
I mean, it's super simple. So I'm going to just like start us off and then y'all can go into more detail.
Perfect.
Because I really am just like, again, like, whoa, it's the end of the year. I thought you mentioned some of really good movies. We had some like decently good music that came out. Like I felt like there was a lot to just enjoy this year. I think since COVID, there was a lot of stuff that kind of got in the way or felt pushed or rushed because of COVID. And I think this year, maybe our, what do you call it? Entertainment industry kind of just finally felt free enough to, what do we want to do? We can do it the way we want to. Be a little bit more intentional, and I mean, we all survived.
Yeah.
We made it.
We're
Another
all
year.
alive.
I'm just proud of the world.
Yeah.
Just proud
But
of
like
us all.
on that note, like we got a lot of pop girls back. We got the pop girlies back. We have like Chapel Roan. We have Sabrina Carpenter. We have. I mean, those were in my Spotify Wrapped, so I'm
That's
trying to
fair.
remember everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. We had like Billie Eilish really got big. I mean. Of course, there's Taylor Swift. We've mentioned her once. We're good. But like,
And somewhere Beyonce is jealous.
oh yeah, actually, thank you, Beyonce. This year goes to you, Beyonce. This podcast is for you. You
did
deserve
see,
it. Okay, sorry.
I
Now
did
we're
see
not
she
going to
got,
end
like,
up
her
on the list.
99th Grammy nomination, which that's crazy.
Yeah, apparently,
is
if
crazy.
she doesn't get it, then people go on a list or something. That was a part
Oh my
of pop
gosh.
culture this year. Actually, I didn't even put that on there, but people were like thanking Beyonce because like everyone thanks Beyonce when they win something because then if they don't, then suddenly their albums don't do well the next time around.
'Cause
So like.
Queen Bee
Oh my
rules the
God.
world.
Yeah, so
Gosh.
then like there was a video of JoJo Siwa. She said she won something like a dance award or something, and she was like, "Before I forget, let me get this out of the way. Thank you, Beyonce."
Oh my god.
So it was really funny. But I do think like our entertainment was really big this year, and I think like
Yeah.
music was big. We got a lot of good pop, and I feel like we haven't had a good amount of pop in a while, like real pop, like
right.
not just like
Excuse me, it's called soda.
but yeah, no, it was good. I really enjoyed like all of the music, so I'm on the same.
Yeah.
Even if it's not appropriate, it was like well written to at least. So
I just felt like people were finally free. It felt more intentional. It was just more authentic. I felt this year. It was good.
And concerts, good concerts.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
We didn't go to any.
Yeah, I was like,
But,
I
like,
mean, they looked great.
You watch them online, you're like, this is like this is not just you up there singing. This is a whole production.
Yeah.
Like this is awesome. So
sure.
Boom.
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 Nailed it. I want to rejoice that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl again.
I knew it.
Again.
And hopefully they get it again this coming year, but we'll see. You have to come back in a year for the 2025 Pop Culture Rewind.
Or just wait till February.
Yeah. Or that. Or that. No, for real, I want to rejoice the baby hippo, Mudang. Oh, it's a wonderful
That's
viral
very cute.
baby hippo that went around the world. I rejoice that something as simple and innocent as a baby hippo went viral.
That's
and can
great.
bring so much joy and common ground to a world. Sometimes we have a tough time finding joy and common ground.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we had something like that every week, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
There's something cute and awesome that everybody was like agreed that, hey, that's really cool. Oh, did you see the, whatever the every week. Just bring the world
instead
together.
of just the worst stuff that we always are.
Well, because
like,
the thing is, that's just what the algorithm shows us is all the negative stuff, the divisive stuff. So maybe maybe our challenge for this next year is like go find something innocent, happy, joyful, and share it. If we all do that, maybe even our algorithms, our social media, what we see might get better.
And my rejoice actually kind of ties into that.
Ooh.
So my rejoice, I'm rejoicing of Alana Mayer. Did I say it right? I don't know. She was in the Olympics. She's a rugby player, and she went viral initially for posting that she was on the Love. Like she was like, here at the villa, I'm looking for my. I'm gonna post it in the Instagram stories because I'm not gonna do good. But she basically, as if she was on like a reality show looking for love or like Love Island or something like that, and then like I got talked to today by somebody, and it was really funny because it was like this felt like the first real Olympics that we can like see the athletes post on social media and us like engage with them and look what the villa looked like, or the village. That's what she was calling it, the villa, and that's why it went viral. But then she was on Dancing with the Stars, and what you're talking about, what we engage with is what we're going to end up getting, right? It's like supply and demand almost. And so with that, she didn't win. We know that she didn't win, but she was on every single episode because they knew if they took her off, no one would engage with that content anymore because she was what we were watching. Like we were watching her because she's so entertaining. And also for me, as like, I grew up an athlete. I wrestled, if you didn't know that. And typically I would be like, I don't know if this is the right word, but like defeminized. Like I was like I wasn't a feminine woman because I did that. And so watching an athlete that people will question how feminine she is because of her body type. I didn't have that per se as an issue, but I cut my hair really short and I wrestled and you're in a singlet and your whole body's on display and all those things. And then you just have to like take what people say about you. This is going to get sad, but I got second place for Poetry Out Loud, but my senior year of high school, and I was up on the stage and giving the poetry, and thought I was doing really good, and somebody yelled that I was a dyke, like really loud. And that's a curse word. I'm sorry, we're not allowed to use that. But watching like the comment section of people being like, "Is that really a woman?" ? And then like hundreds of people like, "Yes, that's a woman. Like she's amazing. She's like." She could body you, like basically those kinds of things. Like she's awesome. I loved watching that from my perspective, and now as like an adult looking back, like what I went through as a kid. I mean, I was 17 when that happened to me, and I dealt with that. I wrestled from 14 to 22, so like I dealt with it all the time. So when we engage with positive things online or through TV, or we only buy like. Our time is money, and for these social media companies as well. So what we engage with is what they're going to give us more of. So they gave us more of her because we liked her. Yeah. And so that was my rejoice, is like, she helped me redeem those parts of myself from my childhood where like I got called names or my sexuality was questioned or whatnot. And then also, it showed the power of us as people. Like we have power of what they're going to give us. So when we engage with like good stuff, we're going to get good stuff in return. Yeah. So it is
kind of cool to see a slight change from like the only thing we're interacting with being things that tick us off to just celebrating things like a baby hippo
Yeah.
for like, like you're saying.
Like a female athlete that's
Yeah.
just like you don't typically, I mean, dancers are athletes, but you don't typically see rugby players
Right.
like dancing like
Yeah.
that. And so like going in like wrestling and rugby, they're not the same, but like body types are similar. The idea of a rugby player and the idea of a wrestler is probably going to be very similar. And so like to see that women engage in that was really positive for me, at least, and for a lot of like younger girls probably that are experiencing those kinds of issues. So
Yeah.
Word.
that's
Word up.
my
Word up.
word rejoice.
Are we done rejoicing now? Yeah, we are done.
Just melting.
Are you all right? All right, we're gonna have to take a break. We're gonna take a break, clean that up. We'll be back for the reject segment.
Hey guys.
Welcome back. We're gonna start hitting stuff.
Yeah. We're gonna break
Probably
some stuff.
Jake.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
What did I do?
Ah, just kidding.
Priscilla hits me enough. I don't
Mostly.
need anybody else to
Oh
join.
my goodness.
So dramatic.
I don't hit you enough.
Obviously.
Like if someone in the comments is like, blink twice if you need help.
You blink.
You
like,
blink
blink
4
all the
times.
time.
Yes.
That doesn't count.
Is that how many? You're just like blinking twice, 6 times.
Yeah.
That's
This is
crazy.
SOS. I'm giving you SOS Morse code. I'm blinking Morse code.
She
at
doesn't
you.
hit me that hard.
All right. Well, Jake.
Okay.
You get to go first. So.
Okay. I have a hot take.
Oh, love it.
And it's more of an obscure event that happened this year, but when I saw it, it just kind of set a fire within me.
All right, come on.
So I don't remember when this happened because I didn't write down the date because I wasn't thinking about it. But sometime during this year, the Louisiana governor passed a bill that said that every public classroom in the state of Louisiana had to display the 10 Commandments. I don't, and the hot take is I think that's stupid. First of all, because, and we already touched on this in the election episode. So if you want to hear that whole soapbox, because I'm not going to get into it because that's going to take too much time, go check out our election episode and how I really just went on. If faith is forced, it's not faith. So that's the first part. But the second part is that the 10 Commandments are not the focal point of the Christian faith.
Yeah.
It's not. And when you put that up there, you don't know what kids are going to be in that classroom if they have any background in knowing the Bible or knowing. I mean, you're in Louisiana, so there can be an assumption. You can make assumptions or whatever. But I should probably stick to my notes. By putting the focus on the 10 Commandments, people are going to be led to what the 10 Commandments were for. Right? Paul talks about this. He says that the 10 Commandments were to show us not that we can save ourselves, but that we need saving. Was to show us that we are broken, was to show us that we cannot get out of this ourselves. Because, I mean, some of those rules are very easy, right? Don't murder. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
Just don't kill somebody. But, like, never be jealous. Always do whatever your parent, like, honor your father and mother, which people can take that very far by saying if you don't do every word they say, that you're breaking that commandment. Never lie. This is a list that for us as broken, failed humans that need redemption from Jesus, it's impossible for us to keep.
Yeah.
And so when you put that in a classroom, it's doing one of two. It's doing two things. I think it's selling the message that the Christian faith is just a bunch of rules, and that God is not interested in a relationship with us, but just in giving us a handbook and then just not caring.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's, oh, well, you didn't obey the 10 Commandments, therefore you're going to hell. Like, and two, it tells us that, yeah, our faith is just a bunch of rules and it's impossible to keep. So even if someone is a devout Christian who tries to follow Jesus, but all they think it is just following these rules, what's the point if you can never keep them? Where does the grace of Jesus come in? And so, like, you know, I'm sure that a lot, like, especially in Louisiana, I'm sure a lot of churches and a lot of Christians were very happy about this, but I don't think it's going to do what they're wanting it to do. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to think that, oh, if they see the 10 Commandments, they're going to find a faith in Jesus. No, they won't.
Yeah.
That does not lead to authentic relationship with our Lord. That leads to following a drill sergeant who tells us that if we don't do the right things, we're going to hell.
Yeah.
Word up.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Wham.
deep. Yeah, I think we've already touched on this in that episode about the election, but when you try to make people who don't know God follow rules that were established by God for us as believers, it doesn't make more believers. Like, it doesn't like help people know who the heart of God. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, which one comes first? Is it like, if you're following rules to earn the love of God, then you either have, I mean, one, you have a very distorted view of God,
Right.
Yeah.
but two, that's not a relational God. But when you love God and then you figure out what all the rules are, and you go, oh, God, this makes God happy when I do these things.
Yeah.
It flows out of your love for God.
Yeah.
And it
That you go, oh, then I'll do these things because he loves me, I love him.
Well, like,
right.
And I'm going to do these things
yeah.
through the power of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Well, it's the difference between rules and vows.
Right.
Because in rules, I'm not doing it because I want to. But like, you get married and there's an assumption that we're not going to go find other people. That's not a rule. Like, that's a rule that by following it makes us closer together. Not a, like, I mean, we got married. We didn't have some sort of prenup saying that I have to do this at whatever
Right.
specific occasion, a certain amount of times a month. Like,
But it's also a covenant that you entered. So like the same
Yeah.
when we enter that covenant with God.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the rules come in, because we've entered that covenant. We have vows with him, the same like during the ceremony when you have vows and you're going to, those vows are now some like rules for you. But I think when we enter into faith with that like rules first mentality, it creates really hard, like externally hard churches where the inside is mush, like a coconut. And it also creates a really difficult walk.
Yeah.
Because now I'm trying to earn everything.
Yep.
By
Well-
being good, and you can't.
The thing I had two tabs open while I was talking, in my brain. The second thing I was thinking
Only
of.
two?
Yeah, only two.
Wow.
That's
I'm
so
impressive.
proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. The other thing I was thinking of is like, we're making the same mistake that the Israelites did when they asked for a king.
Yeah.
Because you put rules in the way, and then there's literally something in between you and God. It's these rules that you have to follow in order to get access to God. But Jesus, like Hebrews says, that Jesus is our great mediator. He is the high
Right.
priest. We get access to the Father through him, not through the law,
good.
not through the things that we do, but just through him. We put the rules in, we're putting Saul on the throne, and we're distancing ourselves between us and the Lord.
Yeah.
We could do a visual demonstration by ripping this veil right here that's behind us.
It costs money though.
Jesus,
Let's
rip the
not,
veil.
let's not do that.
Rip the veil.
Great idea. No.
I don't think I could rip it, to be honest. I'm going to need some scissors to start it. Only Jesus is strong enough to tear veils
Yes.
without using his hands.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, Priscilla, what you got?
Okay, so mine is actually like I almost feel bad, but I want to make sure. I love how you rejoiced, Alana Mar. Whatever we
Just say
said
it
her
every way,
last
and one of
name.
the times you'll be right.
Mar.
Mar.
Like Matt Mar.
Like Matt Mar.
Maher.
So Alana Mar. And then y'all can correct us if you have to
Yeah.
later.
Actually,
like-
please comment. It'll help in the engagement. So can you correct
Yeah.
us, please?
Well, no, you want to engage joyfully, so don't correct us, but encourage us.
Oh,
I'm going to encourage you to pronounce her name properly.
Admonish us
Please
with all
help
hymns
us.
and songs.
Yes. Thank you.
anyways, they got bronze as the U.S. team for the Olympics, and she actually ended up placing second in Dancing with the Stars. Like, it was kind of funny. I've never watched Dancing with the Stars before until this season. I just
Yeah.
accidentally fell onto it because I was like, I need something that I can just put on the background while I'm doing stuff. That was a mistake.
It was a trap.
That didn't actually
It was
happen.
a
So
trap.
I watched the whole thing and I'm like, actually, this is kind of cool to watch. This is like, it was fun to be like a voter, all the things, whatever. Anyways.
She literally voted on her phone, my phone, and my computer.
That's
Just so
Hey,
she could vote 3 times.
And this year, Dancing with the Stars had the most engagement that they've ever had. And hey, maybe it was just because I voted from 3 spots.
Oh
like,
my
who knows?
goodness.
Just kidding.
Absolutely.
Anyways, one of the things that I saw, and this really was with all of the people, all of the dancers, all of the popular people, all the professionals, but specifically with Alana, I noticed that struggle she had with having to prove her feminism, having to prove that she was a woman in this space. And I really want to reject that's something that we have to do. Like, that's what culture has created, and disagree
and the way
with
that she had to do it.
Yes, honestly, like Dancing with the Stars has always been like the way that you have to dance. You always have to wear something that's like, I don't want to say skimpy, but just it's a lot less clothes than normal stuff. But I felt like towards like the middle and to the end, Alana almost had to do certain things to look super feminine, or maybe even in her social media say certain things. In one of the shots when they were live, one of like the, I can't even remember, not the judges, one of the like announcers, the MCs or whatever, like just started joking that she was single, and Alana's like kind of in the background, and she's like pointing at herself and like, you know, like she's available, she's ready for anybody, kind of. Yeah. Like those are some of the things that I was noticing that I felt like she was almost having to push out to like prove like, yes, I want a guy. Yes, I'm a woman. Yes, I can be feminine and I can be this athlete. While I respect it and I think it's so important to show that. I think the younger generations need that example. I'm just sad that culture has pushed those people into those positions.
Yeah. It's also why she went viral, is by being like the Love Island type thing at the Olympic Village. So it's like she made her brand off of that, and it's sad that she couldn't just go viral because she's awesome. Had to like, she's funny, and that's why she went viral.
Hilarious.
But it's also like because she's showing that she's a woman, that's her whole brand, and that she is a straight woman. Like that's her whole brand. Yeah. And where it's like, people will say, oh, she's definitely not straight, look at her. Like, how do you know that? No, she's like been saying she wanted to go on a date with men this whole time, and that's her whole brand. So it is sad that she has to continually make that her thing. It feels like she can't move on from it a little bit because of us, because we engage with it.
Having to prove something she already is. I think that's even what us as Christians is like. It's our actions. Her actions already show that she is a woman. There's so many things that naturally she proves she is a woman because she literally has the physique, the anatomy, all the things. She is a woman. Yeah. And we get so caught up like that as Christians too. I have to prove that I'm a Christian, when you're proving your characteristics of a Christ follower by the way that you act and by the words that you say.
I mean, it's not by my Instagram bio?
Not necessarily, no.
But you should follow us on Instagram.
You should.
Sorry.
And TikTok.
And TikTok.
Anyway. All the things.
Yeah.
But that's just really what I reject, because that is also then the example for all of the younger generations, is that's the only way we can be known is by proving who we are. Instead of just showing people, letting people naturally follow, letting people naturally see who we are. Because honestly, at the end of the day, to me, it's like, people who are so popular, we don't know them. So why do we care so much to be influenced by them or to influence them if we're never spending time around the table with them? Why do we have to care? Why do we have to prove who they are? Why do they have to prove to us who they are when we don't spend time with them?
Right.
That, like, yes, we want to know who they are, but they shouldn't have to be extra in anything just because we don't have the opportunity to sit across the table from them. I think we take away then that authenticity, because we're taking away their opportunity to just be themselves, because we're saying, well, we don't know you because we're not sitting across the table from you, so prove to us that you are who we want you to be, essentially. And I think that's not okay. That's not okay.
You mean I can't rely on a celebrity pastor to be my pastor if I've never met them and don't go to their church and don't live life alongside them?
Such a good segue. You've set me up twice. Like you keep teeing me up.
That's just my role here. I should just buy a Segway at this point.
So like my reject is going to be the Met Gala, and consumerism, and our celebrities are aging backwards, and it's actually getting really freaky. If we look at social media, more people are posting on at least TikTok, like why does Christina Aguilera look like that right now? Why did last year she looked completely different, and now she looked like she did when she was 17? Like, it's weird. It's really weird. But my main point is the Met Gala. So there was a lot of posts of the Met Gala this year. We've kind of seen it, I think, kind of fall in popularity over the last 3 years, where people are kind of questioning why we care now, because I can't afford eggs, so I don't care if the ice purse that can't remember who had the ice purse, but it had diamonds in it.
Purse?
Yeah, it was a purse made of ice, and the diamonds were like worth a certain amount, and they were like, I don't care. People were like, I really don't care. So people were commenting on the Met Gala post, like, I'm watching this from District 13 because it looked so much like the fashion from the Capitol or District 12, and like I felt like that. I think I probably commented that at one point, like on something else, because I was like, it's just so out of touch. And so I reject that. I think the gap, even maybe it's like, maybe it's where we're at in our economy and why like there's such a big gap between the normal population and the 1%.
Yeah.
But it's like, I can't even look at one of those celebrities and be like, I look up to you anymore, because your dress is my entire, it's like 2 years of work for me is what that dress that you're wearing is. And I can't even comprehend how that works.
The gap has never been more visible.
It's actually like makes me sick to my stomach sometimes, because like I can't even engage with it anymore. Like I just scrolled past the Met Gala stuff this last year, because I just like, it made me sick. And one of my favorite TikTokers for a long time is Anna Starr. I can't remember how to actually say her last name, but she's really funny and she's been really relatable. And then this last time around, she went to the Wicked red carpet. Was it red or was it? Anyway, she went to I think it was yellow. Anyway, she went and she was picking out a dress, and like all of them, I was like, we're in the Hunger Games. Not a single dress is cute. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, I could not see a normal person in any of those dresses. None of it makes sense. And that's where I commented, I'm watching this from District 12. And like, I got a lot of likes on it because it made me so uncomfortable. So my reject is that we are in a space where like, we can't even relate to the people that we used to like look up to as celebrities. And we don't even know why they're famous. Like, I don't know what they're doing for anybody right now. Yeah. So when we were briefing before, you'd shared that like that's why we shouldn't be looking up to them as pastors, because they're not. Yeah. They're not. Like, we can't look up to them. We can enjoy the content that they produce and recognize that it's entertainment and it's content, but I'm not going to go out and buy a dress that somebody wore that's half of my year's wage because it looked really good on that person. Like, it's runway fashion and a Met Gala and all these things, like none of it matters anymore because we can't afford any of it. I can't even afford the earrings that someone's wearing. So it's like, anyway, off my soapbox. I'm rejecting that this year. I felt like consumerism was like sickening, where most of the American people are having a hard time with their groceries. Like the amount that our groceries went up this year is like, makes me want to tear up when I check out every single week. Yeah. But it's kind of put into perspective what I need to be taking, or what needs to be important to me. And these things that aren't important, they don't matter. So they might be entertaining, but I think for a lot of us, they're not even entertaining anymore because they're so out of touch.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's my reject.
Good one.
Mic drop.
Nailed it.
Please don't drop the mic.
I won't. Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
Yeah. My turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right. It's about to get real. It's been real. But if you're listening to this with kids, it's about to get PG-13 for a second.
Ooh.
This conversation. So, earmuffs. PG-13, not R. We're not going rated
So
R.
like put in your
PG-13.
AirPods.
You might want to fast forward 5 minutes if you're like, All right, I'm going to reject that we live in a culture where the hawk to a girl goes viral. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't know, brief synopsis from me. Essentially, it's like a 5-second clip, 10-second clip, where a college-age girl went viral in a short interview where she describes giving sexual favors to a romantic partner. And like that clip went like viral.
It went insane.
Crazy. Like blew up.
Yeah.
Like it's gone so viral that she now has her own podcast called that. Right? And then she released a meme coin themed on the phrase, which I guess is like some sort of
is that
crypto.
like a crypto? There's a hawk to
I
a
didn't
crypto.
know that.
Are
or an
you kidding
NTF
me?
or something like that.
That's insane. I didn't know that.
Yep. And her net worth now is estimated to be around like $500,000.
People
Whereas
are
before,
bad.
like this was someone who was just like a
From
random.
a how long video?
It's
5
like 10
seconds.
Yeah,
It's like 10
it was
seconds.
like one of those street interviews. You know,
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
interview random people. Yeah.
So I want to be really clear. I'm not rejecting her, just straight up. I'm rejecting a culture where this kind of material is what like blows up. You know, where it's that's what gets passed around. That's what's celebrated. Our culture worships sex, just point blank. And if we're honest, so do a lot of our churches. And if we're being really honest, so do a lot of us individually. And so, like, just reflecting on that, I think, like, Scripture says we can't worship God and money. I'd also remind the church that we can't worship both God and sex.
Yeah.
Like, sex is obviously a good created thing when it's within the construct of what God has created it to be.
Yeah.
So I think just being mindful of the content that we're consuming and talking about and passing around and normalizing, be mindful of the young people who are being exploited or who are like exploiting themselves to feed the sexual addiction and perversion of the world. And to like, because it can be really easy, like in this conversation, to feel a certain level of shame if this is something that like you struggle with, you know? So don't let shame isolate you. If you struggle with like sexual addiction or that kind of stuff, like don't let it isolate you and drive you deeper into temptation and bondage. Like, you know, straight up, just like pray, get some help, seek a conversation with a pastor or a trusted like confidant about it. Don't fight alone. But I just, it's either a reject or a lament. Maybe both. It's probably both.
Both. Yeah.
Like just lament that this is the reality of our culture.
Yeah. So I just read this book a week or two ago. It's called Fighting Shadows. It's by John Tyson and Jeff Bethke. Phenomenal. Read it in like one day. It was awesome. But they had a chapter because it's a book about like men in faith, and they had a chapter about sexuality, saying that we lived in a we now live in a culture where sex is now treated as salvation. And so to get that ultimate pleasure, which is the pleasure of self, not even caring about the partner, but to get to that place is salvation. No, it's not. But we treat it like it is. So it's not surprising to me that we live in this culture where sex is worshipped, because it is, in our culture, the ultimate form of salvation. You will be healed. You will be everything if you just get that next high. And it's not right.
Yeah.
So sex doesn't save. Jesus does.
Period.
Nailed it.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it.
We're done rejecting. We're gonna move on to redeeming.
Yeah. We're about to get a lot more positive in here.
That's a little heavy.
A little heavy.
It's a needed heavy.
brush it off.
We gotta talk about it.
We do.
We gotta talk about
It's
it.
important.
If we don't talk about it, church, then it's still happening.
No one is gonna talk about it.
We got to talk about it.
So that we can also redeem.
That's right. Coming up next. We're about to redeem stuff.
Sad.
Tie it to I'd love to be part of an inside joke someday. We're about to tie this to the gospel, people.
That's so sad.
That's the main point. It's the main
Someday.
point.
Okay, let's go.
Connor,
All
what you
right,
got for us?
I'm redeeming the Olympics, the Paris Olympics. That's my bridge point of the gospel. Hear me out. The vast majority of the world coming together to share in something that unites them.
There's no gospel in
That sounds familiar.
Well.
Seems like something we're looking forward to as Christians, as believers.
What's that?
Right? Give us a little small, maybe window or sample into what eternity is going to be.
I just hope the beds are more comfortable.
That's true.
Amen.
When people from
Amen, sister.
every tribe, language, nation, tongue come together
Yes.
to worship Jesus.
Okay, Thanos.
Come together.
Just don't snap.
From dust you came, to dust you shall return, my friend.
That's insane.
Okay.
Gosh. Did we mention we're a pop culture podcast?
Listen, this vision, like the Revelation 5 vision, just gets me like, that's my, like, as a worship leader, all the time, my church is like, okay, Connor, we need a different call to worship than Revelation 5. But I'm like, but it's so good. And it's literally what we're going to be doing forever.
Yeah.
Circling the throne of the Lamb, singing hallelujah, holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. Like, who has the power to open the scroll, all the deals, all the things from. Just go read Revelation 5. It's really exciting. But that's what I think about when I was like, oh, look at all these different, like we were watching the opening ceremonies. We did a podcast on the opening ceremonies.
Yeah, we did.
And just seeing all of the different nations riding in on the boats, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Everybody's like different language, different ethnicities. Oh my gosh. Like different cultures.
Even the ones that have to share the same boat.
Especially the ones that had to share
super cool.
a boat. Yeah.
It was super cool. So, and it just reminded me too, like the closest I feel like I've ever been to heaven is when I was in a summer training program in college in Jacksonville, Florida. It was like a discipleship evangelism training program for like 2 months. And it was like all week I just lived and shared life with like 200 other people who were just there for like pursuing Jesus. And it was like in the evenings we were doing worship services. We were like diving in the word. We were sharing our faith in our workplaces, like living together. And it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it's going to be like someday. Yeah. So I just get, pumped about it. So when I look at the Olympics, I'm like, boom, there's a glimpse, small glimpse of what eternity is going to look like.
I love that picture.
Boom.
So good.
There it is. I don't remember who I said was going to go next. I think it was Priscilla.
Oh, it was me.
I think it was.
Sorry, my bad. I was like, it's Jake's turn.
And she's just trying to pass it off.
That's right.
Like, no, it's my turn. Oh, okay. Well, again, I really caught on to the Dancing with the Stars people. Got a little invested. But just a little bit. But Stephen N, the pommel horse guy, like that's what I'm gonna just call him. Really, like, I don't know. I was really impressed with him. I didn't look. I should have looked specifically what he is diagnosed with, but he has this eye issue. So he needs his glasses, but also like it's not just his glasses that help him. Like he has to do these other things because he essentially just like sees not just out of focus, but like almost out of alignment. And the biggest thing he did for the Olympics that impressed absolutely everybody was that he took his glasses off. And his big deal for the Olympics was that he just he felt for it. He knew what to do. He knew what he was like, what part of the is it called the pommel? Yeah, pommel horse. Like he knew exactly where he needed to be, when he needed to be there. All by just touching, all by sensing and feeling, knowing, probably having a very rigorous routine and discipline to know what exactly he had to do. And then he goes into Dancing with the Stars and he does the same thing. So one of the biggest things about Dancing with the Stars is these are all popular people, but they're not necessarily dancers. They don't all necessarily have the beat. They don't all necessarily have the rigorous discipline that a dancer has versus any of these other Olympic level sports. But this guy comes in and he does exactly the same thing. Before almost every dance, he takes off his glasses and he's really leading into his partner, his professional dancer, and following their lead, which one thing that's really cool is that he's the male and he's following her lead. Like it's so cool that he just allows that to be what he's following because he doesn't know any better. But he's taking his glasses off, so he's showing even more trust in the process. Even one of the dances, he didn't take his glasses off, but his glasses ended up like crooked. So really only one eye could see correctly and the other one was doing whatever his eye does when he doesn't have his glasses on. And this guy continues to do the rest of the dance and it's perfect. Like, I'm sure it wasn't perfect, but he did great. And it's almost like if nothing had happened. But I go back to wondering the discipline that he had to get to the point where he could trust his partner and that he could trust himself to know what he was doing. Yeah. And I think that's such a beautiful example of our relationship with Jesus. How many times do we do the opposite, that we are not disciplined and we do not spend our time with Jesus and we do not put our focus and our perspective in the right place, and we depend on our glasses, we depend on our own views, and we lose sight of what the Lord has called us into and the things that he is leading us into if we would stop trying to be the leader. And if we had all of these disciplines in place, that when we do have to take our glasses off, as Stephen did, that we could fully trust the process. That's very hard as a human. We don't like trusting the process. We like being in control. But I thought that was just such a beautiful example of when we apply ourselves. Like this guy literally at the Olympics was the bronze medal. This guy got 4th place in the Dancing with the Stars. Really from the eyes of me, for no reason except that he put in the practice. He had the discipline. He put in the time, and he was willing to know he wasn't the best and worked his way to that.
It's true.
Trusting the process, and I think that's kind of what's the hard ask of Jesus is, do you trust me? Are you going to let me do what I have for you? Are you going to let me use you in the way that I have created you to be?
Yeah.
And are you going to take the time to be with me? Because that's going to get you through all the other parts that are really hard to let go of.
Yeah.
Word up. I think too, there's something to be said about practicing spiritual disciplines on a regular basis too. That when you're in the heat of the moment,
it's natural. It's natural.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
No second guessing.
Because he was so practiced, because he was so disciplined, when his glasses were messed up, he was able to keep going.
For a practical, like a way to apply that, it's like for me, I was given the like a wise word from someone that when I'm beginning to be angry because of somebody else or because of something else or something out of my control or even myself, my reaction should be thanksgiving to God instead of anger, and it kills the anger like immediately. Mm-hmm. And so like my role as a worshiper of the Lord is immediately to tone it back into worship and worship God and thank you, Jesus. So if somebody's upset at me, thank you that I even get to know this person.
More gratitude, less attitude.
You there's a part of your brain that switches off, like the anger switches off when you change it. And so like if you have that spiritual discipline and you practice it in like the low stakes, then you'll like be able to do it in the high stakes and talk yourself off that anger ledge. Yeah. Because I'm an angry girly.
Or have an attitude of gratitude.
Oh,
there we go.
Period. Snaps.
Anyway.
Whatever. Mine sounded cooler.
It's a both and.
Yeah,
it's a both and.
It is.
It's good.
100%.
All right, Jake. What you got?
So I don't really have an X, Twitter account, whatever, however you prefer to say it. But apparently, in January, there was a post from Sesame Street where Elmo asked, "How's everybody doing?" And
not good.
People were very honest. Let's see some of these comments. I'm at my lowest. Thanks for asking. Elmo, I'm depressed and broke. Elmo, I'm suffering from existential dread from over here. Elmo, get out of here. It isn't safe.
Okay, Elmo.
But like, and apparently even like businesses got involved with this because Oreo said ran out of milk. Do the math. Garfield's account said, well, it is Monday. And Jimmy John said, well, it is the 800th day of January. That one doesn't.
Well, because January always feels so long.
Some people were positive in their comments. Like I think Chance the Rapper said something like "I'm at my best" or something like that. Like he was very positive. And there's some other people that were very positive about it. But it spread such an awareness of mental health that Sesame Street posted a few days later, leading people to mental health resources, where Elmo said, I don't have this word for word. Picture this in however Elmo would say it, but basically, I guess it's important to ask a friend how they're doing.
Oh.
Yeah. And
thanks, Elmo.
Yeah. Well, and even got to the point where like Biden retweeted it. And he said like, I should have written it down because I didn't. Yeah, I didn't write it down. He said basically like sometimes it's hard to push away the clouds to see the sun behind it. And something about like we're all in this, like we all have to understand that we're all in this together, so help each other out. And like there was the article I was looking at, there was a licensed therapist from South Carolina named Catherine Tarleton who explained that like the reason why this hit so hard is because characters like the Muppets and Sesame Street invoke a sense of innocence and safety, which allows people to be more honest. And like where I find this pointing to the gospel isn't that our job as the church?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Jesus does for us? He provides us with a safe, like, and from my experience, because I know not everybody had a good experience with church in their lives, but like, I didn't have a whole lot of friends at school. So my church was my family. It was my community. I found life there. And so I learned from even a very early age that the church is meant to support each other because we are supported by the Holy Spirit, by Jesus, who walks with us and sits with us and understands what we're going through. That's the biggest difference between Elmo the Muppet and Jesus. Is Elmo, even if he was real, has not been through all of the stuff that we suffer through every day. But is it in Hebrews or somewhere where it says that Jesus understands where we are at. He has endured all that we endure and more.
So good.
Yeah. Well, Hebrews 4 is talking about he's sympathizes with our every weakness.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking
That's the
of.
one.
Yeah.
Our living Bible over here.
What?
I said our living Bible over here. You.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, no.
So yeah,
You know,
Jesus.
you have a lot of scripture memorized.
I just find that that whole thing just very beautiful, because also it pointed to mental health awareness, which I love that we are in a place where we're recognizing how important mental health is, but also that we don't have to find this was all half baked, Jake. Like I have notes here, but I'm not going off of it. That we don't have to rely on a savior who doesn't understand what we're going through.
Yeah, it's good.
You might preach.
I just did.
I also feel like I would be a lot more open if my counselor would just use an Elmo puppet in the voice.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't.
I would actually leave.
Well, if it was just Elmo, like if you just walked into therapy and it's just Elmo,
and like your therapist is hiding behiing the chair, and
eventually your brain would buy into it. Like eventually your brain would be like,
"Is it Tickle Me Elmo?" Because then I'm leaving.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a
fair statement.
Okay, well, to move on.
That's okay.
My redeem. I'm redeeming. So this year there was some beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, right?
what?
Just a little bit.
The best beef.
Prime grade A beef.
It was, honestly, I was like, I don't really care that much, but I'm enjoying seeing all this. Anyway, so Kendrick ended it with Not Like Us. And I'm not going to specifically talk about that song. We're going to move past it. But what I'm going to talk about is there was a performance, and he performed it 4 times because like the crowd kept encoring, like we want more. So he performed it 4 times back to back to back. And to back. Yeah. And West Coast gang members joined him on the stage from rival gangs, and I'm not going to go into gang knowledge. I work in criminal justice, doesn't matter. What I will tell you is this, especially on the West Coast and where he was at, I think he might have been in LA, which is like major gang territory. You don't even talk or look or like hang out with anyone of an opposite gang, rival gang, because that puts a target on your back. Yeah. And so that's a death sentence for yourself. And so seeing them all like on the stage, and basically the song is like anti-pedophilia and like calling people out for that. And then we're seeing these people who are gang members on the stage rejoicing with this song, singing this song. Like they're not like us. We're not like that. Like we don't do that. To me, it was a strangely heartwarming experience to watch it, but I'm going to redeem it because yes, like it's calling someone out. It's pretty aggressive. There's a lot going on, curse words, etc. But the message is this: like, as the people, we're not going to stand for that, and we're going to unite to deny that and to call that out because it's wrong. And so, like, no, we're not going to sexualize minors, and no, we're not going to be best friends with people who are on parole for sexualizing minors. And that's kind of where the song is at. But that's my redeem. I'm redeeming that moment. That was a really, I think, important cultural moment for like specific community that maybe we moved past from too soon, or those of us that like don't engage typically with that content kind of didn't get it. And I think it was super big and important. So that is my redeem. Yeah. Not like us.
That reminded me of a story in scripture around like the crucifixion of Jesus, right? It's in Luke 23. And it's just this really, it's a side comment. It's in parentheses. But it's right after, I'll read the verse before. So it's like, they're talking about like Jesus being arrested, being beaten. So in verse 11, it said, then Herod and his soldiers began mocking and ridiculing Jesus. Finally, they put a royal robe on him and sent him back to Pilate. And then here's the statement. It says, Herod and Pilate, who had been enemies before, became friends that day.
Yeah.
even in his suffering, Jesus is still bringing enemies together.
Yeah, it's really legit. It was a very cool experience this year, like a really interesting thing to watch in our media. So I think it's good to see that when injustice brings people together to fight against it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
The whole time I was thinking, shum, dum, 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 dum. Come together right now. Over me. Dum, 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 dum. Maybe one of the coolest bass lines.
The best bass line.
So good.
That's a different song.
Well, I feel like we've really wrapped this year up.
We didn't need AI to do it.
2024 wrapped.
And
Pop culture recap, rewind.
Love that. Great time.
We're going to use all the titles.
Can't wait for 2025.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Or maybe it's already here.
Depends on when you're listening.
It depends.
Happy New Year, everybody.
All depends on your perspective. How about that?
Hey.
All right. That's a good place to end. And we're done. And does anybody else have anything they want to say?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I hope that your resolution lasts longer than January.
Period. I was very positive. Happy New Year.
Good luck. We're all counting on you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening today. Just a reminder as we conclude, please RSVP for our live show. You can find the details in the show notes. And if you haven't noticed already, we are doing the Pop CR 12 Days of Christmas on our social media platforms. So if you could engage with us there, we would love to do that with you all. So happy New Year's, and we wish you the best. And we'll see you next time.